Hello, beautiful people. Honest Am here, the creator and writer of Honestly Sis newsletter, a bi-weekly newsletter geared towards millennials who are truly trying to get their shit together. And I am here for another daily motivational video where we use the tarot to become the alchemists of our lives. A little bit about me: I do not just use the tarot. I use God and cusses in the same sentence, and I may mispronounce some things, but if it does not stop Charlemagne the God, it would not stop me. Angel number 20. So, guys, this is going to be a little bit of a different reading. This is going to be our very first moon reading. If you have not realized, this channel is spirit led and spirit driven. And last week I just got like the message. Like, I really, it was like as soon as I got the clarification that we were moving away from like the signs reading, I was like, okay, so now you need to do moon reading. So the very first one is going to be the new moon in Aries, which I feel like is super appropriate because I'm an Aries. Like, no. But I do feel like it's super appropriate because I just celebrated my birthday. And I also have just committed to being on this journey, committed to seeing my path out, no matter where it leads. And so it just makes sense that this is when I will be starting something new. And I want you to know that I am not an astrologer. I actually have my notes here. I listened to, and that was the other thing. I was like, God, I don't know anything about astrology. Like, I just don't get it. Like, and I don't want people to think I'm trying to be something I'm not. And I also don't have like a source that I go to, like a website that I go to where I listen to, like, I'm like, I don't even know where to start. So of course I started on YouTube. I listened to Jess with Bahati Life, and one other girl, I can't remember her name. But what happened was, as I was listening to their videos, information was coming to me. So I was like, okay, God, like I can flow with that. So what came to me is this new moon in Aries. The very first thing that I said is examine your triggers with love and care. I feel like this new moon is going to be bringing up a lot of stuff from our past, a lot. And when I say coming up, it's just like, don't you know when you be driving and you just have a random memory just flash in your mind? You're just like, where the fuck did that come from? That's going to be happening a lot. And the reason why it's coming up is because God wants you to start examining those things, looking at those beliefs. Sometimes it's stuff that kind of, are like symptoms to your limiting beliefs. So if you just sit and examine them and really understand, like, well, what is this trying to tell me? Why am I feeling this way? A really good example I could give for you guys was earlier this month, I was feeling a lot of kind of like not like a trap feeling. Yeah, I guess it was like kind of a trap feeling with my work situation again, and I was very frustrated because I'm like, God, like what the fuck, like angel number 252. Like, I just feel like I am like really, really trying to better myself and do what you tell me to do, but it doesn't seem like this area of my life is changing, and I don't understand why. And what God did was he reminded me of like remember that story in the Bible where the guy had the thorn in his side and he kept asking God, like, can you just take the shit out? And God was like, no. And it was like, God, the thing is, God wants us to be able to sit in our discomforts and to figure out, like, why do I feel this way? And what is this discomfort triggering in me? And what I kept thinking about, like, what this discomfort meant for me and why I was feeling so trapped, and it just made me realize like where I want to go and what I want my future to be like. And I realized, like, I don't care how it's dressed up. I'm just not somebody that can work in corporate America. And I'm honestly, truly, probably not somebody who can work for somebody else because I don't like people telling me what to do. And I realize this, I'm realizing this about myself. So angel number 350, I give you that example because I want you to try to be mindful of the things that are coming up for you this month. I did write something down about that. Let's see. A lot of irritation in the planets. So as above, so below. This time of discomfort is in our current spot. It's like a highlight and a kick from the universe to tell you, like, hey, you may want to look at this area. And if you do take the steps to try to, acknowledge it, or, at least try to, I think it's really more so just acknowledging it and honestly saying out loud, identifying what the problem is. The universe is going to start to help you bring in change. So really try to sit and look at the triggers that you are going through this month. There's a big emphasis on taking your power back. Do not feel bad for taking time for yourself. This is ultimately how you're able to get into that ultimate alignment with source. Remember, I always talk about that. Alignment happens in 3 steps. It first happens in the thoughts you think, the words you speak, and the the actions you take. And if sometimes we don't take certain actions or we don't say certain things because we're around certain people and we don't want them to feel a certain way, and so when you think you're trying to be courteous, what you really do is fucking up your own vibration and fucking up your connection with source. So God is saying, don't be afraid to step back from those people and those things that are no longer serving to you, so that you can really get to the path and to the people that are for you. I want to hurry up. The next thing that God says, right now, this period, the new moons, I think it's only for 2 weeks. A lot of feeling of uncertainty may be coming up. And sometimes when we're feeling uncertain or if we're feeling scared, angel number 535, we can start to make rash decisions and decisions out of fear. And so God is saying, again, if uncertainty come up, if triggers come up, do not allow this to trigger you into a response. And so say if, you're feeling very lonely and you're feeling like angel number 550, you feel like, damn, I want somebody to be there. You're just really aching. Do not call your ex-boyfriend. Do not backtrack. Like God is saying, just sit in the loneliness, acknowledge it, acknowledge that you want a partner, acknowledge the things that you want, so that once you're able to acknowledge it and say it out loud, then the universe can work to bring it in. So that's really another good message. Remember, there's no deadline. There's no deadline in life. So take the time to think clearly. Really just I also got the feeling that this period that we're going into, because we're also going into a new astrological year, so just think about this like as a total reset. I really feel like God wants us to again be very mindful of our choices. I want to say in our last Alchemist reading, God brought that out, and being mindful of your choices is how you are able to become the alchemist of your life, engine number 644, because you're deciding, okay, I'm gonna go this way, I'm gonna go that way. So right now, if you are really, really focused on trying to change your life, shift your paradigm, get a new job, move to a new location, really trying to get in alignment with your heart desires, God is saying this time period is going to be so mindful for you to be conscious of your choices and the things that you are the things that you're doing. Just be very mindful of that, because it has a ripple effect. So you don't want it to ripple in the wrong direction. No surgical procedures at this time, or operations if you can avoid it. You may have head, teeth, gallbladder, and penis sensitivities. So just be very mindful of that. Also, this time is a good time for rest and relaxation. I noticed myself that I have been just a little bit more laid back. And I honestly keep into my Saturday schedule time. So maybe this may be my new recording time. But still also, trusting and honoring our flow for that. So if you do find yourself tired or, just chilling more than normal, that's okay. That is totally within this new moon, because it's really more of a time for introspective and planning. Speaking of planning, God is saying that this is a very good time for you to start looking at your goals and, for one, be more compassionate, have more grace, know that you are exactly where you need to be. There's no need for you to rush or to try to get things, to make things go better. God is really asking you to start looking at things from a God perspective. So you may meet somebody and you may think, this is the one, this is the person that I'm supposed to be with, angel number 816. But God is like, no, that's not the one. This is actually the one that's triggering you to get to the one that you need to be. The thing about life is we really don't know what we want until we experience something that we don't want. So it's like, as soon as you experience what you don't want, you're able to say, oh no, I don't want that. Now I can call in what I do want. So again, being very mindful of our triggers, working through them, not making decisions out of fear, but always making decisions in our best interest. Another thing, the very last thing that I want to say is that God is saying, say your dreams out loud. It's very important for you to do that. Because for one, just try them on, just try it on, see how it sounds out loud. When I told you guys I have been on this journey for about 7 years. And at first I thought I was just, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be an actress. Like that was just my thing. My family used to say, call me Shonderella, all this stuff, angel number 911. But life happens and you go your other ways. And for a long time, I really was like, damn, I was supposed to be an actress. I should have went to Hollywood. If I would have just went to Clark Atlanta, I would have already been in movies and, just all of these shoulda, coulda, wouldas. But then I realized, the more that I have been on this journey, I also rediscovered writing. And I used to write as a kid, but I never thought of writing as a job. It's just sometimes when you are just so good at stuff, and not to toot my own horn, angel number 944, but it is honest. When you are good at something, or when something comes very natural to you, you don't think of it as a talent. You don't think of it as something like, oh, can I make a career out of this? So I never, ever thought of writing as a career. And so as I've been like on my journey, I've been working on my manuscript, and I like have fallen in love with writing. Like I can't believe that I never initially started to be a writer. And so now I'm at the point where I realized that that dream of me being an actress, it was such a small dream, but it actually was the thing that kicked it in, because now my end goal is not to be a Angel number 1023, is not to be an actress that's the author. My end goal is to be a writer and a director. Like I never ever thought that I would say that. And lately I have been just saying it, like I'm gonna make movies, and I'd be like, I'm gonna make movies, I'm gonna make movies, I'm gonna make movies. Like last night I was in a car, like literally damn near about to cry, like, oh my God, like I'm gonna make movies. And like when I look over my life and I think about everything I've been through, I'm like, damn, it makes sense. And honestly, I'm going to say this last thing and move on. The thing that reminded me how much I love movies and why I feel like why this is my path, and I've committed to the path, and I have no idea how it's going to happen, and it sounds ridiculous, but I'm like, God, see it through. I trust you, God. That was last night. That's why he wants you to say it out loud, because you have to feel that excitement. You have to feel how it feels to even say it. And then once you feel that, then you just have to just be like, I just trust you. You have to kind of like just surrender to the process and be like, you know what, God, I'm never, this sounds crazy. It's big, it's unattainable, but I'm trusting you to see it through. And the crazy thing is, like, I've been taking little baby steps, and I have been seeing how the universe, like, I'll take one step and the universe will usher another one in. I'll take another tiny step in the universe to do this. And it's like, it has gotten to the point where it's like, for one, I'm so far into it. It's like, there's no going back. There's no going back to the life of an accountant, or, there's no getting off of this path. Like, there's only moving forward. But also it's like my dreams are like so much bigger than what they were when I first started this journey. So I say all that to say, like, just trust God. Say your dreams out loud. Do research in it. Angel number 1212. And honestly, another thing that was a turning point in my journey was that I did an acting workshop, and like I was, talking to other people who was in that world and doing those things. And they were just like, and long story short, I just realized, like, for one, actors really don't have no control. And two, I'm like, that's just another grind. And I'd rather do the grind that God gave me and just trust that it's going to get me where I need to be. Okay, let me be quiet. God, what messages do you have for us to become the alchemist for our lives? What do you want us to know about this new moon? Sorry, guys. What do you want us to know about this new moon in Aries? Why are we having this reading? God, any messages that you want to deliver to us and through me as clear as possible. I am a clear, open vessel, being the light only. All right, let's see. What do we need to know for this new moon in Aries? What is important to know in this new moon in Aries, God? Why are we doing this reading? All right, I'll take one more if you need it. One more. Okay, that's it, actually. All right, so let's see. Angel number 1303. So in this new moon, and that makes sense. Oh my God, it makes so much sense. Okay, so in this new moon in Aries, the overall focus is beauty, and I think that's again goes back to that statement that I was telling you guys about looking at your triggers with love and care. God wants you to start seeing the beauty of the situation, and keep going back to my example of that's why I realized, like, so often we look at our life and we're just like, why did this happen to us? Like, how could it happen to us? And last night I just realized, like, oh my God, like, once you get it, it's like your life, your past is kind of like the cheat code to get everything that you want. It's like, damn, like this really built me up to be this person. Like, I can't describe it. Like, it's like, I want to describe it, but I can't describe it. Angel number 1423. But I just really want you to try to look at your life in a different perspective. Look at your life in a God perspective. Look at your life as though it was a movie. And think about, like, all movies, like, movies have a journey. I'm a writer. I'm a writer, baby. I'm a motherfucking writer. I like how I said that. Anyways, movies have a journey. Either your character is going to start off being in the ordinary world, not doing anything, denying the call of duty. This is how a typical hero's journey go. The character starts in their ordinary life. Then something happens in their life that triggers for them to figure out, like, oh, like, do I want to go on this journey? 9 times out of the 10, the person denies that they want to go on a journey. Then they talk to somebody and makes them feel confident to go on a journey. They go on a journey and then they have obstacles after obstacles. Then I'm going to skip forward. Then there's this point, it calls the point of no return. It's the point where your character is just so fucked up that it's just like, how is this person going to possibly get out of this situation? And guess what? Somehow your character is able to rise up and able to get out of it. But guess what? You don't look at your life that way. You hit rock bottom and you think, God damn it, this is it. Ain't nothing else gonna be better for me. And God is like, that is not the case. I did not write your story to be that way. I write your story for victory. I write your story for triumph. I write your story to see the full glory of me. And so God is saying it's gonna be a good time this period, these next 2 weeks, to really look at your triggers, really look at what your life is trying to tell you. So often we think we know what we need to focus on. We think we know the areas because we're just like, well, I want this to happen, or everybody in my life is married, so I need to be married too. Instead of what's really coming up in your life is for you to work on your work situation and for you to find internal happiness within yourself. Again, you're not smarter than God, and you're not seeing things from God's perspective. Things happen in order to trigger a response for you, to trigger a call of action. When you feel discomfort, it's coming up because it's saying it's time for you to make a change. It's not coming up because you're weird or strange. God is saying, start seeing the beauty of your situation. If you start seeing the beauty of the situation, then you can start looking at yourself honestly. Once you can look at yourself honestly, remember oh my God, I can't even remember what reading that was, but I was speaking about how if you don't accept all of who you are, angel number 717, you become distorted within. You begin to see yourself with rose-colored glasses. And when you begin to see yourself with rose-colored glasses, you begin to see the world with rose-colored glasses. And when you begin to see the world with rose-colored glasses, you're not really seeing reality of the situations. You're seeing what you wanted to do. And so often people who come from bad backgrounds, people who come from abusive and being neglected and abandoned, we found a way, our superpower is that we can look at any situation and figure out a way to make ourselves feel better in a fucked up situation. We have mastered that ability to look at a situation, know that it's fucked up, but change it into such a way, morph it in such a way that we can be like, oh, it ain't that bad. I may cry every now and then, but it ain't that bad. But then we keep doing it and we keep doing it and we keep making more and more distance within ourselves. And when that distance come up and that distance create depression and it creates anxiety and it creates all these other things, it's because you're not being honest. It's because you're not seeing life clearly. And so God is saying, whether it is if you're in the best situation, this is the best. Look, this is the thing. If you look at your life right now and you done had so much bad stuff, right? The beauty of it, the blessing is it can't do nothing but get better, right? Because you already in this balance. The universe works in balance. So if you already experienced so much bad, it can't do nothing but get better. So God is saying, take this time when these triggers are coming up. Look at them honestly. Look at them truthfully. I have to look at myself and say, you weren't even setting yourself up for success. You're so used to fighting. You thought you had to fight for love. You're so used to having conditional love that you tried to make yourself into a condition that will be acceptable for somebody else, forgetting who you truly are. Angel number 1930. You had to be in a situation where you had to protect yourself and learn yourself and nurture yourself. And you thought that this was happening. God said, shut up. Okay. I'm just saying, we got to be honest with ourselves. Once we're honest with ourselves, this is the thing. Too many of us are fear, false evidence appearing real. Too many of us are afraid to get information because we don't know what that information will do. But the thing is, once you have information, you have knowledge. Once you have knowledge, then you can make a decision from there, right? Angel number 2030. You don't even want to look at what it would be to become a director. So you don't. You have this dream, but you won't even go down a path to figure out what it is. How are you being honest with yourself? Because the real thing is you're insecure. You don't feel like you're worthy of it. That's why you're not going down the path. God said there's going to have to be a willingness to do the work. You got to do the work. So much praying, so much hoping, and God is like, yes, I'm praying and hoping with you. Like God is doing the same thing. He like, now do something. Somebody had a quote, and I was close to tweeting it, but I didn't want to tweet it because I'm like, I really don't like the energy of it. And it says that you sitting there thinking that God has a plan for you. You sitting on your ass thinking that God has a plan for you. And it's like, it's not that God don't have a plan for you. He definitely has a plan for you. But it's the fact that you sitting on your ass that it ain't gonna ever come about. We do too much praying, but we don't have the willingness to do the work. You don't have the willingness to get the research. You don't have the willingness to even look at yourself honestly. You don't even want to put yourself in the atmosphere of your dreams. How crazy does that sound? You just think, God, this is the thing. Yes, we love movies, right? We do love movies, but you honestly don't think like a fairy godmama just gonna pop in your living room like, hey, you wanna be a movie star? Let's make it happen. You think that's gonna happen? No. And that's the thing. That's the biggest lie that was told to us. Yes, you can have the faith of the mustard seed, but the other half of that is faith without works is dead. You have to have that faith of the mustard seed and do it in action and do it in motion. You have to be like me and be like, God, I have no idea how I'm going to make movies, but I'm going to get my ass on YouTube and do these videos because obviously you telling me to do it. I have no idea how I'm going to make movies, but I'm going to go ahead and finish this book because that was what you originally gave me. I have no idea how you're going to make these movies come about, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do these articles for Honestly Sis because that's what you told me to do. We don't know who's watching and who's seeing and who's monitoring us. But your fear of the little people who could give a fuck less about what you're doing is stopping you from having the blessing of life. Angel number 2323. Patience is necessary. You need to have patience with and compassion and grace with yourself. Yeah, yes, your life is fucked up. Yes, it's been fucked up. But this is my thing. Are you going to continue to allow it to be fucked up for another 5 to 10 years? Or are you willing to spend the next 5 or 10 years correcting how fucked up the last 10 to 12 years been? That quick shit, it don't last. That viral shit, it don't last. Because it's one here, it's another tomorrow. I had went back and I was listening to that, I was listening to the Jay and the John, whatever his name, Gene, the New York Times interview, Angel number 2422. And he was talking about like that white hot space. Like that's so many of us. We want to live in a white hot space. We want to be the hottest thing ever. But it's like you don't want to be a trend. And that's the thing. God is saying, have patience. Because if you're just focusing on manifesting, a new job, let's say a new job, a new car, a new man, that's quick stuff. But if you're talking about asking God how to be the alchemist of your life, that means any change you want, anything you can bring it about. That's going to take patience because you're learning a skill set. God is trying to teach us how to be spiritual beings in a very physical world. And that's going to take patience because we have to unlearn all the shit that we've been taught. You're beating up on yourself because you're like, I want to do this and I got to do this and I want to get my money right. I want to get my hair right. And it's like, God damn, take it easy. It's only so much that you can do. Pick one area of your life. For one, say everything is as it should be. See the beauty in your situation. Then pick one area of your life to look at it honestly. Take one area of life that you're willing to do the work and be patient to see the results of that. It's like, so are you don't even want to take the first step because you want to see how the whole journey is going to go. But you have to do this with a knowing faith. It's not a blind faith. It's a knowing faith. I'm doing these videos every single time knowing that it's going to put me one step closer to my dreams. How? I don't fucking know. But I feel it. I know it in my heart. And that's what you got to realize. All right, God. Oh, I should have showed y'all that. That was a beautiful but a cut card. Now, clarify this message of beauty, honesty, willingness, and patience. What are you, what are you trying to get us to understand here under this new moon in Aries? What do we need to understand about beauty, honesty, willingness, and patience? How can we become an alchemist of our lives? How can we use the energy of this new moon in Aries to get us one step closer to becoming the alchemist of our lives, God? Deliver this message as clear as possible. In God's name I pray. Knowing faith. I just wrote an article on Honestly Sis, my public road to publication. So definitely check that out. It's probably not going to be in our archives at the time of the posting of this video, but it's something to think about. So with the beauty, it's so appropriate. We have the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups, I told you guys I have been back in my student mode. And so, angel number 2750, the cups deal with our perception. And it deals with our perception. And so if I'm dealing with this Knight of Cups, it's like thinking about our emotions. Again, seeing the beauty of our journey. It's like as soon as you're able to see the beauty of our journey, then you're able to get that blessing of a new cup. Then you're able to move on to the next level of your life. Does that make sense? So we see this water here in the background. So that water counts to emotions. We see her in the desert on this cup, and that's like she's been on a journey. So again, with the beauty, seeing the beauty of your emotions, being able to sit into your triggers, to look at them honestly. And when you're able to look at your emotions honestly, they will lead you to new places. So again, it's just like what I was saying in the beginning about you acknowledging the pain, acknowledging where life has taken you or what life has given you. Then you're able to see the blessing and the beauty, and you can move on to new things. Before, I used to always look at this card and I used to think of it as like somebody's coming in to offer this person a cup. But now I'm like really looking at this card, and it's like she's looking at the cup as she's on a horse, but she's looking at the cup, right? And so that's what I feel like God is saying. Commit to this process. Commit to the process of going on this journey of looking going on a journey of one becoming the best person that you can be. That's really what I mean when I say alchemist. It sounds like a fancy word, but it really just means being the best person you can be, being the person that God created you to be, answering your soul calling. That's what I mean when I'm saying alchemist. And in order to become that, there's a need for you to look at your life. There's a need for you to look at your past. So often we want to move forward without even acknowledging anything that we've been under. It's just like that same method of like, you're trying to, your mom tell you to clean your room and you just throw all the shit under the bed. And after a while, if you keep doing that every time, that stuff under the bed is going to spill out. And that's why we have like mega stars that, you know, they have these big public moments, and it's probably because they just been, especially for a lot of our older stars. Like I really think about like, you know, Whitney and Michael and Prince and like so much that they've been through. Like they just been through so much. Like this world really beat them up, and it's like they weren't even able to really enjoy their success because they had to deal with the pressures of the world, deal with the pressures of their family, and then it manifested into this public wound, being able to, the whole world was able to see it. And so God's saying to avoid that, not even just having public wounds, you know, stuff popping up when you get famous, but just in life. Like, don't you want to, it's like, this is the thing, your triggers come up. You see something, it reminds you of, you know, the fact that you don't have a good relationship with your dad, right? But you don't want to really look at that. So you just put it under, you know, you just put it under there. You deal with your dad on a basis. Your dad makes you feel a certain way. You suck it down. You put it that way. And then you end up in a relationship with a person who's exactly like your dad. And you're feeling that feeling again, but you're sucking it up. You're feeling that feeling again. You suck it up until it blows up into a physical manifestation of like, you know, fights. The relationship isn't working, whatever it is. If you continue to just break up with that person and be like, whatever, that's just him, get to start dating somebody else, I guarantee you the fight is going to happen again. What needs to be addressed is the wound of your father not loving you and your father neglecting you and abandoning you. And so what God is saying, if you just sit into your emotions, if you just really look at your life, you'll start seeing the beauty of your life, and it'll move you out of feeling that way. Then you won't have that trigger to constantly come up again. And also, you will no longer attract that type of energy because now you've acknowledged, hey, that's not love. I don't want to feel that way anymore. So now you have a boundary up. You were able to acknowledge it because you have a clear boundary up of, okay, this is love, this is not love, right? Now you can move on to attract and create the life that is naturally for you. You can't move forward without going backwards. God is saying, look at the honesty. Once you're able to really clearly look at yourself, so often we don't want to look at our situation because we're afraid what we're going to see. Like, again, it's like if you're used to having rose-colored glasses, or you know what, this is a really good example. If you're only used to wearing weaves, right? Seeing the idea of not having your weave is going to frighten the fuck out of you, right? But you don't realize now that because you become so attached to the weave, now you're not able to see the honesty of yourself. So now you feel like you need this weave in order to be presentable and beautiful to the world. But the truth is, if you were to stop wearing a weave, to start embracing who you are, you could be able to see yourself beauty. You will look at yourself, see who you truly are, and be like, damn, I got it. And that's a random small example, but that was what my natural hair journey was. I've always been the type of girl who, you know, my mom didn't really know how to do hair, so I would color hair, go to school, my hair all fucked up, you know, I got talked about and stuff. Then when I got in, but my mom would never let me get weaves until I was in high school. And when she let me get weaves, boy, I did not stop getting weaves. I got weaves all through the 9th grade. 9th through 12th grade, I had weaves. When I went away to college, I made sure I had weaves. And then one time I had like, I think I cut like a patch of my hair off, and my hair was like super duper thin. And, but at the time I was still wearing the weaves. Then I started to go to, I started to mentor, and I would see these little young girls, and they would just be in their natural hair. And I was just like, little young black girl, like little, like I look at them and I see me, and I'm just like, damn. And they just look so free and confident. And so I found myself getting the Marley twist. And you know, that's like the natural looking hair. And it was like, I would go through all these extremes, and I'm like, Amber. And so one day I was just like, what the fuck are you doing? You literally have a weave style trying to emulate a natural style. Why don't you just try to figure out how to wear your real hair? But it was such a hard journey, y'all. There was times where I literally left work because my hair was fucked up. Like, I went in the mirror and was like, oh, hell no. And like went home because my hair was just like, it was such a journey. But then I remember this one time I had looked in the mirror and I didn't have any weave. I think I had my hair in like literally like 2-strand, like them two, you know, my 2 little French braids. And I like really looked at myself and I was like, wow, I'm really pretty. Like, I'm really a beautiful girl. But when I tell you, and I think that was when I was 23, 24, I never used to feel that way. I used to feel like I needed to have a weave. I needed to have something in order for me to feel beautiful. And so then it got to the point where I felt self-conscious of even wearing weaves because people be like, oh my God, I would get such a reaction out of people when I have weaves on versus my natural hair. But anyways, I say all that to say, once you're able to face your fears and like really look them in the face and realize that they're not that bad, they're not going to kill you, you're able to overcome it. Yes, it's a journey. I'm sure there was bumpy times where she almost spilled her cups, times where she almost fell off the horse, but eventually it's going to be victory because you're seeing things clearly. You're seeing things from a God perspective. You're seeing yourself, your true self. That's another reason why we can't create new things, because we're not being honest with ourselves. So God is saying, see the beauty in your situation. Really look at your past. Look at how you got to where you are today. Once you're able to do that, I promise you, when you're able to do that honestly, you'll see how everything that you've been through really was to set you up for victory. The last thing God is saying, have the willingness. Here we have the 6 of Wands, and the 6 of Wands, the Wands talk about our soul and our and the passion that it takes. And you see this energy of just doing the work. Every time I see this card, I see Beyonce. And we know she's a hard worker. She did not just become Beyonce overnight. She was in the game for almost 20 years. She was doing this since she was a kid. Literally, since she was like 8, 9 years old. That's constant effort. I said something on this channel one time that I'm so glad that God brought this back up. I said that, you can just become great. But the truth is, you got to have that mindset. Like, you got to come in this motherfucker being like, I'm here to be great. And that's how this girl was able to go on this journey and just focus on this cup. It's because you have to just be focused on, God, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to become great, because I'm here for the long term. I'm not here for no quick success. I'm not here to just manifest a movie and then go away. You're not trying to become a one-hit wonder. You want this to be a lifestyle, right? You want this to be your new reality. In order to do that, you have to do the work. You have to do the work to bring these dreams about, and not only bring these dreams about, but standing your ground, creating your boundaries. I feel like you have to protect where you're going, protect who you are. And I think that's why God is saying it's necessary for you to be honest with yourself and see how powerful you are, see how you are able to overcome, because then you'll realize you're not fighting from a place of trying to be anything. You know that this is just your natural motherfucking birthright. Yes, there's going to be obstacles and things you got to overcome because of the things, just because how the system has been set up, because it's like a game. But God is saying, stand your ground, fight for it. If you want it, be willing to do the work, be willing to put it in. And look at this. 6 and 7, progression. With the honesty and the willingness, we have the soul. So, and another thing that I learned today, it was that the wands represents the soul. So here it's saying, as you start going on the journey of answering your soul calling, once you see the beauty of your situation, looking at how you got to where you are here, you become victorious. But then once you realize how powerful and strong you are, now it's time for you to set your boundaries, stand your ground, and do the work. I just keep coming back to that. Do the work. Angel number 4011. Last thing is the patience with the Knight of Pentacles. And I love this because look at this, y'all. I'm going to put it this way. God is like, if you take that time to see the beauty of your life, go on that emotional journey, then see the honesty, be honest with yourself, stand your ground, be willing to do the work, then I can give you a physical manifestation that is going to bloom into your life. Angel number 4050. The Knight of Pentacles, this is all about tangible works. These are the things that we have to do, the monotonous things, the everyday things. And the Knight of Pentacles is said to be like the best knight to get out of the deck, because he's someone who gets it over time. A slow, methodical approach. You see this? He's like, I'm offering it to you. Like, here you go. It's like literally looking up, like, do you want this pentacle? Like, are you ready to go to the next level? But it took patience. It took time. See the beauty of your past. Go on an emotional journey. See how strong and resilient you are. See the truth of who you are, of how you are truly a victor of your life. And have the willingness to defend your right to live, to be. To block yourself off from the things that society and people are telling you what you want to do, and just doing what you truly want to do, standing strong in that and firm in that, no matter how long it takes, because you know ultimately the end goal is going to be that blessing is going to come in your life. God, give us a tool that we can use here in this new moon of Aries energy, God. What tool can we use to go on over our past, the beauty of our past? How can we look at our past and look at it from a place of victory and honesty and not of lack and defeat? How can we have a willingness to put up the boundaries and do the work that needs to be done to bring our dreams about? How can we be patient and just allow everything to unfold? God, how can we end these sleepless nights of worrying? How can we gain control over our mind and our emotions, knowing that victory is within reach? Please make it as plain as possible. I'm not going to read all these cards for the sake of time, but I am going to read this one because for beauty with the Knight of Cups, God says, my career is one of creating a joyful life experience. If your dominant intent is to feel joy while you're doing the work, your triad of attentions, freedom, growth, and joy will come quickly and easily into alignment. So again, God is saying, it's not, you don't even have to have an end destination in mind. All you have to do is focus on having freedom, growth, and joy. If you just focus on that, it will come quickly and easily into your alignment. See your career as one of creating a joyful life experience. You are not a creator of things or a regenerator of what someone else has created or gatherer of stuff. You are a creator, and the subject of your creation is your joyful life experience. That is your quest. That is your mission. That is why you are here. Angel number 44, 45. So for anybody who had any doubt on feeling like you're selfish or you're just being a dreamer or you're being unrealistic because you are trying to do something that you truly love, that's why you're here. We have to realize that, for one, when God put us in these bodies, we all came with a mission and a thing that we were supposed to do here. Unfortunately, our parents did not get that message. Unfortunately, society did not get that message. And so sometimes, instead of working towards the things that we really know that we want, we do things to please others. And then we get into these things and we know we're still not happy. And it's because we're not being true to ourselves. And God is saying the only way that you're going to be true to yourself is if you focus on having just a joyful life experience, on doing the things that make you feel love and joy. He's saying he know you don't know what the job you want to have or what career path. It don't matter. Just do what you feel called to do. Please take me as an example. I don't know where any of this shit is going to lead. But I'm just focusing on how it makes me feel. And it makes me feel good. And I have to know that when I am feeling good, I am attracting good. It allows and then even if it's not even to be the biggest star, which I just feel like that's meant for me. But it allows my life to be tolerable, right? It gives me something to look forward to. It gives me something to work towards. Like, I honestly be like, what the fuck do other people be doing if they don't have projects? Like, what are you doing with your free time? And so that's what God is saying. See the beauty of your life. You're exactly where you need to be. You don't need to get a degree. You are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And now if you're feeling those discomforts or those triggers, it's just a call to look at them, see what they're trying to tell you, and move in a direction to make you feel good. The other card that came out with honesty and the Six of Wands is nothing is more important than that I feel good. Nothing is more important than that I feel good. I want to find a reason to feel good now. So again, God's giving you the tools. And I feel like I'm going to have to read this. Whenever you are feeling less than good, if you will stop and say, nothing is more important than that I feel good. I want to find a reason to feel good. You will then find an approved thought. Anytime you feel negative emotion, you are in the mode of resisting something that you want. And that resistance takes hold on you. So let me break this down. You're thinking about your ex-boyfriend, but you just don't want to think about it because you're like, mm-mm. But then he come up again. Mm-mm. Come up again. Mm-mm. The resisting is, you're resisting the fact that you want love. You're resisting the fact that you felt disappointed and betrayed. God is saying, look at that. Nothing is more important than that you feel good. So if you look on it and you say, hey, I want love. He didn't give me love. I want to feel nurtured and protected. He didn't give me that. Now God can bring those things in. Yes? It's anytime you feel negative emotion, you are in the mode of resisting something that you want. And that resistance takes its toll on you. It takes its toll on your physical body. And it takes its toll on the amount of wonderful things you bring into your experience. So again, the resistance, the bad feelings is really coming up because you want to feel something. You feel dissatisfied on your job. Why do you feel dissatisfied on your job? Is it because you do not feel challenged? Is it because you don't feel a growth potential? Is it because you feel like you don't have control? Like, identify it. Because once you're able to identify it, now you can say, oh, well, how can you fix it from there? If the reason why you don't like your job is because you don't feel like there's a variety of work or because you don't see career potential, okay, so do you need to be looking in this company to look at other roles, or do you need to be trying to figure out ways to transition out of it, right? Do you need to be staying in the same industry, or does this mean that you really just don't need to be in this industry at all? We don't even want to go ask ourselves these questions. And I had to, and then I'm going to say this and I'm going to move on. I had like tweeted something like I was so frustrated at work. And so I just tweeted like, this time next year, I'm going to be in a position that is in line with my heart's desires, period. And, you know, people retweeted it. It's like, yes, girl, I agree with you. But then this one girl said, you never know who's watching. What is your dream? Like, where do you want to be? And I had to really think about it because I didn't know at the time. I'm like, where do I want to be in a year from now? I know I don't want this, but where do I want to be? And then I really started to think about it. Like, well, I know I don't want a journalist job. And I don't know if I'm like, I don't think I want to work for anybody at all. Okay, so if I really don't want to work for anybody at all, does that mean I just don't want to work in corporate? Does that mean that I want to just work on an entrepreneurship side? And I pretty much kept asking myself these questions till I realized, like, you know what? I don't necessarily want to work with anybody, but I wouldn't mind being in somebody's writer rooms because that will help me learn how to develop stories, and then that will help blah, blah, blah. Ask yourself the question, be willing to go down these journeys because then you can find the blessing. You can find the answer that you're looking to. You can, angels, God, they can start moving you in a direction. But God can't move you nowhere if you just gonna sit here and whine about how bad things are. You got to acknowledge it so you can start moving it, moving and grooving. Edge number 5115. For the willingness, we have the law of attraction both adds to my problems and solutions. And we know this thing. I mean, God is really giving you the plan. I love when you do that. Focus on just what brings you joy and love. Whenever you feel less than good, God is telling you that you are in a mode of resisting. So now God is saying, now that you know that you are in a mode of resisting when you're feeling anything less than good, now have a willingness to pivot. The law of attraction, excuse me. The realization that something is not as you want it to be is an important first step. But once you have identified that, so back here with the honesty, it's like, yes, victory because we're realizing the truth. The faster you are able to turn your attention in the direction of the solution, the better. Because a continual exploration of the problem will prevent you from finding the solution. The problem is a different vibrational frequency from the solution, and all thoughts are affected by the law of attraction. So what God is saying here is the problem is, it's not that you don't have a willingness, like God sees it. God sees that you're looking at your emotions, that you're trying to be honest with yourself, that you're starting to see the strength in yourself. You're starting to see, okay, I can make this happen. But the problem is, instead of focusing on, okay, I can make this happen, this is the life I'm trying to create, you are focusing on the problem. You're just doubling down on the problem. You're creating, you're putting your sticks in the ground. Like, this is the like, you're just so focused on the problem. And what God is saying, you got to start thinking about a whole nother frequency. This is another way to look at this is God is saying, so now you don't like your life, you don't like your job, you don't like how it's going. So now block off. Block off anything that is going to put you in the direction of where you just came, because you realize you don't want that. So we're going to block off a road to that. And anything that try to challenge the direction that we are going, we're going to fight it off. So that's what God is saying. It's you have to get control over your emotions in your mind. Your emotions are so important because they give you information. They allow you to see where you're going. But the way that you look at it's like you can't push it down. You got to see the truth of your emotions. If you're able to see the truth of your emotions, then you can start moving yourself in the direction of your dreams. Yes? Okay. Last thing. Patience in the Knight of Pentacles. I am a vibrational being in a vibrational universe. You live in a pulsating, vibrating universe of advanced harmonics. Everything that exists in your air, in the dirt, in your water, and in your bodies is vibration in motion. And all of it is managed by the powerful law of attraction. There's nothing that exists outside of this vibrational nature. And as you learn to accept your vibrational nature, you begin to consciously utilize your emotional vibrational indicators. Remember, And you gain conscious control over your personal creations and the outcome of your life experience. Goddamn. Goddamn, goddamn, goddamn. Did God just give us, did he just crack the code on here? I'm going to say this one more time. Maybe I should stop cussing. God, this is crazy. There is nothing that exists outside of the vibrational nature. And as you learn to accept your vibrational nature and begin to consciously use your emotional vibrational indicators, aka your emotions, you will gain control over your conscious experience. You will gain control over your personal creations and the outcome of your life experience. Actually, it's this one. Using your vibrational indicators, you will gain conscious control over your personal creation and your outcome of your life experience. Angel number 5544. So what God is saying is that, honestly, he's saying that the key to everything is your emotions. He's saying if only you would pay attention to your triggers. Okay, that's what it is. God is saying pay attention to your triggers this month, because if you pay attention to your triggers, they will reveal a new side of you that will trigger you in a direction. They will reveal a true side of you that will give you a sense of victory, that will trigger you into the direction of your solutions that will ultimately bring about a physical manifestation in your life. It will bring about a prayer. But what God is saying, have patience, because it's not going to happen right now. So I feel like what God is saying, this is not going to be something that's going to happen within a month or even within a moon cycle. He's saying he wants you to this is a way of thinking that you need to have. Every single time a trigger come up, looking at them, looking at it from a place of victory, saying that nothing is more important, that I feel good, realizing that the moment that you realize that something is not as you want it to be, starting to pivot and, barricade your way into the direction of the solution, because the law of attraction adds to both your problems and your solutions, knowing that they're on different frequencies. If you do that, then it will bring this beautiful manifestation into your life. All right. That was a lot. Angel number 5711. God, what happens if we take the advice of this reading? What happens if my beautiful viewers see the beauty of their situation and really just allow themselves to go through this cycle of pivoting? No, he said the cycle of examining your triggers, seeing the blessing of the triggers. What happens if we see the blessings in our triggers and look at them with love and tender care? What comes to us this month? Okay. Opportunities, potential friendship, and luck. And of course that makes sense because we got this victory here, but it's also the luck is not coming because you're lucky. The luck is coming because you're starting to gain control over your life and your personal creation. Opportunities coming and friendship. So I think that is where I'm going to leave it. It says care required. So be careful. I think one thing that I want you to be very mindful of is that as you are having these triggers, as you are identifying these things that are making you feel sad, don't keep dwelling on them. Keep dwelling on it, because remember the law of attractions, they add to both. So it's like if you keep dwelling on it, it's just going to keep magnifying it and bring more of those experiences into your life. What's really important for you is to dwell on it. To see the trigger, look at it for an opportunity to transmute it. Start thinking about possible solutions. Then your luck will start changing, and you'll start feeling like God is your friend and the universe is on your side. Okay. I'm going to actually, instead of leaving you guys with the oracle card, I am going to leave you guys with this from Auntie Iyalana. And I feel like this is so appropriate. This is actually her April 11th, which is going to be the new moon meditation. It reads as follows. We are the children of those who chose to survive. If you've ever doubted yourself, the daughters of dust. I'm going to read that again. You are the children of those who chose to survive, the daughters of dust. If you've ever doubted your ability to survive, look at who you came from. Don't limit yourself to parents and grandparents. Go all the way back to the root. In your family line is the genius of those who were born into a burning land and built the pyramids. In the oasis of your mind is the consciousness of those who charted the stars, kept time by the sun, and planted by the moon. In the center of your being is the strength of those who planted the crops, toiled the fields, and banqueted on what others discarded. In the light of your heart is the love of those who bore the children who were sold away, only to one day hang from a tree. In the cells of your bloodstream is the memory of those who weathered the voyage, stood on the block, and found their way through the forest, and took their case to the Supreme Court. With all of that going on for you, what are you worrying about? I live in the light of a mighty past. So my reflection, what I will leave with you is, who is the most honored wisdom figure from your ancestral lineage? Imagine living a day at his side or her side. What message did this person have to offer you? So I will leave you guys with that, with letting you know that you are completely, what the hell? I just dropped something. Oh. I will leave you guys with just this message. We're all on a journey. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. And the people who try to seem like they know what the fuck they're doing, they really don't know what the fuck they're doing. You don't have to know how it's all going to go about. God's not asking you to do that. Like, you're not God, so you're never going to be able to see all that. But you are God's body. And the only way that God can express himself is by you being true to yourself. Is by you deciding to show up in the world. And the only way for you to be able to show up in the world and to show up as your truest self, connected to nothing but the pure source of God, is for you to see the beauty of your life. It's for you to be honest with yourself and have a willingness to do the work and be patient no matter what it takes. So under this new moon in Aries, if any of those triggers come up, look at them with love and tenderness. See what they're trying to give you. Say your dreams out loud. See where it's trying to take you. Do the research. Be willing to go on this path, no matter how crazy, extreme, or out there it may be. That may just be the design and the dream that saves the world. We need you to show up. We need you to be true to yourself. So, will you? All right, y'all. That's all the messages I have for you. If it was beneficial for you, please give me a thumbs up. If you really, really love this message, please subscribe and come along. Until we meet again, dream those dreams. Never let the internet rush you, and never, ever let someone tell you what you cannot do. Angel number 10234. Take care.